The fate of American democracy hangs in the balance as the U.S. Supreme Court prepares to make a decision that could significantly impact the political landscape. But here's where it gets controversial. The ruling might just hand Republicans a powerful tool for redistricting, potentially altering the balance of power in Congress. A critical redistricting case. The case in question revolves around the Voting Rights Act, a cornerstone of American civil rights legislation. If the Supreme Court overturns Section 2 of this act, which prohibits racial discrimination in voting, the consequences could be far-reaching. This ruling could allow Republican-controlled states to redraw congressional district lines, potentially gaining numerous additional seats in the House of Representatives. The potential impact, according to a report by Black Voters Matter Fund and Fair Fight Action, at least 19 more voting districts could be redrawn in favor of Republicans. This shift could occur before the 2026 midterm elections, depending on the timing of the court's decision. The report highlights the potential for a dramatic change in the political landscape, especially in southern states where voting patterns often align with race. A threat to racial minority representation. The concern is that this ruling could dilute the collective power of racial minority voters. If mapmakers are no longer required to ensure fair representation for these communities, states like Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, North Carolina, and Texas might see a reduction in Democratic representatives. Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Tennessee could lose all their Democratic representatives, according to the report. A domino effect on diversity. The impact doesn't stop there. This decision could lead to a substantial loss of representation for the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, further diminishing the voices of racial minorities in Congress. Cliff Albright, co-founder of Black Voters Matter Fund, warns that this could cement one-party control of the House for a generation, with profound implications for the entire country. The Louisiana case. A flashpoint. The Louisiana case serves as a microcosm of the broader issue. A lower court ordered the state's Republican-led legislature to redraw its congressional map after black voters sued under Section 2. This map change led to Democrats gaining a second seat in Louisiana. However, a group of non-African American voters, led by Philip Callais, argues that this race-based redistricting is unconstitutional, drawing parallels with the Supreme Court's 2023 ruling against race-based affirmative action in education. The court's dilemma. The Supreme Court now faces a complex decision. On one hand, it could uphold the Voting Rights Act, as it did in 2023 in Allen versus Milligan. But many observers fear the court's growing skepticism of race-conscious remedies for historical civil rights injustices. A ruling against Section 2 could be a tipping point, severely limiting Congress's ability to promote multiracial democracy. The looming redistricting war. With the ongoing mid-decade redistricting battles between Republicans and Democrats, a ruling against Section 2 could lead to a free-for-all in congressional mapmaking. This is further exacerbated by the court's previous decision that partisan gerrymandering is not subject to federal court review. The absence of federal protections against racial discrimination in redistricting could have profound and long-lasting consequences, according to legal experts. The clock is ticking. As state deadlines approach, the window to pass new congressional maps before the midterms is narrowing. Louisiana's Secretary of State has requested an early January 2026 ruling to maintain the state's election schedule. However, the Supreme Court's timing remains uncertain, with major decisions typically released at the end of its term in June. Upcoming cases adding fuel to the fire. Adding to the complexity, the Supreme Court will soon discuss a North Dakota case that challenges the ability of private individuals and groups to enforce Section 2 through lawsuits. A similar issue has been raised in a Mississippi redistricting case, further highlighting the potential for a significant shift in voting rights enforcement. This ruling could shape the future of American politics, and the implications for racial minority representation are profound. Will the Supreme Court uphold the Voting Rights Act, or will it pave the way for a new era of redistricting that favors one party over the protection of minority voting rights. The answer could define American democracy for generations to come.